Greg Doyle here for Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat, coming to you today with a quick video around Canelo Alvarez's win over Danny Jacobs on Saturday night. I watched the fight back again just to see if my thoughts or feelings changed about it. So I just thought I'd record a quick video today just to go over my gatherings and what's next for both fighters, how did I see the fight going, etc. So watching the fight back, I've got to be really honest with you, I thought it was a bit of an underwhelming fight. I wasn't overly impressed with it. I thought that Alvarez, with all due respect to Jacobs, it was a lot of what I thought. Alvarez seemed to me like he won not in his top gear. Watching the fight back, it was a bit of a tale of two halves, but I also believe that Alvarez seemed to take his foot off the gas and let Jacobs back into the fight a little in the second half. What I would like to say though is massive props to Danny Jacobs. I think the thing that fascinates me is he's now pushed Canelo and GGG really close, and there are some people out there, I'm not one of them, but there are some people out there who think that he's won both fights. I had him losing by the same margin for both fights. I scored Golovkin and Jacobs 115, 113 if I remember correctly, and I also scored this fight 115, 113 Canelo. So looking back on the fight, there was a lot of good things to take out of the fight for both fighters, even though it wasn't a great spectacle. And in my view, Alvarez, the thing I love the most about watching Alvarez is I'm absolutely in awe with his movement to avoid punches. He's got that old pro style to him now, where when he avoids the punches, it almost looks as beautiful as when he's throwing the punches. If you watch back at the fight numerous times, and he does this in a lot of his fights, and I see guys like James Toney and things used to do this as well, and it's beautiful to watch. You'll see him, he'll sway to the left, he'll sway to the right, and then he'll drag his body right back when they're going to throw the third punch. It's almost like he's anticipating a 1-2, and then if it's like a big right hand over the top, another one, or a big left hook, etc. But he'll go sway back, and the way he does it, the punches just go, and then fantastic the way that he does it. I really think that that's one of his biggest attributes, Canelo, is his movement. He's beautiful at avoiding taking shots. So that was probably the biggest thing that I enjoyed from watching the fight on Saturday, but I also found myself kind of cheering on Jacobs towards the end because he came back into the fight really well. He threw a few punches and he done the same antics as when he fought Golovkin, where he kind of banged his gloves or banged his chest a bit and said, right, come on, let's have it. But I think Canelo was comfortable for the majority of the fight. I don't think that Jacobs threw anything that really badly hurt Canelo. I remember Canelo being backed up a little bit later in the fight, but there is a part of me that thinks that if he had to stand and hold his feet, then he could have. I thought Jacobs popped out his jab really well on Saturday night to keep Canelo at bay a little bit. It was nice to watch because, as we know, we've seen Canelo coming in, stopping Rocky Fielding without a problem. I'm a big fan of Amir Khan. Amir Khan, in my opinion, was ahead in the fight with Canelo until Canelo knocked him out, but I also believe Canelo was starting to get to the point where he was going to take over in the fight. I don't think it was the fact that he couldn't work Khan out. I think he eventually was getting to know what he was going to do, evidenced by the knockout as well that came, which is probably the biggest knockout of that year. But I didn't really enjoy the fight on Saturday, I have to be honest. It wasn't a fight that I watched and I thought, wow, like, this is like Canelo GGG 1 or 2, etc. This is fantastic. Jacobs comes across to me like he's one of these guys that he can hang with the very best. But for me, that's where it ends, that he can hang with them and push them close, but I think he gave all he's got. A lot of people are saying that if he could have started earlier in the fight on Saturday, so easy sitting back and saying should have, would have, could have. So see, for me, if Jacob started earlier in the fight on Saturday, he was getting banged out. That's just my view. I think if he went in and was too adventurous early on, Canelo is a fantastic counter-puncher. Canelo would have took him out. I think he fought Canelo the way that he had to. He could have thrown a little bit more, but I would say the way that he judged the first 6 rounds was really well. He watched Canelo, watched the kind of things, the way he was moving, trying to set his feet up in range. I believe that you can only throw so much sometimes in a fight, and it might look like you're not doing a lot, but you have to warm your way into a fight sometimes. Canelo Alvarez isn't a guy you can take chances with, so I believe that he done the right thing. But the second half of the fight, say, it was really a bit of a stop-start fight for me. I thought that Jacobs came into the fight a little bit better in the second half, but as I say, I also think that that was due to a lack of urgency from Canelo. I think he knew that he had him beat, and although at times I think when Jacobs pushed the fight at the second half, Canelo was always in control, which is my view on things. But as I say, the big thing for me was that I learned a lot from Saturday is that I think that Canelo can go through the gears. I believe that he will get better the better the opposition. I thought he was fantastic the second Golovkin fight. I think if he comes over and fights Callum Smith in the UK, who is WBA Super, World Super Middleweight Champion, I think that is... If that comes off for me, that's the biggest card we've had in this country since Brook Golovkin to kind of make you go... Now, I speak to my friends about this all the time. The Brook Golovkin fight is probably the most uncomfortable but amazing buzz from a fight that I can remember. If you remember watching the fight, you're thinking he's going to knock Brook out the first time he catches him clean, so Brook can't let him catch him clean, and it almost happened in the first round. And I can remember feeling so nervous watching that fight, because you think, well, Kell Brook's got the skills to pull it off, but if he gets caught, it's not going to end very well at all, and we all know what happened there. But I remember the lead up to the fight, and it was a fantastic time for British boxing, and I believe if we get Canelo Callum Smith, that's going to be a similar build-up and a similar buzz in this country. From a boxing purist's point of view, yeah, we want to see him fight Andrade, but Andrade, aside from his world title, if we're being really honest and we think about boxing as a business as well, which I don't like to do, but you have to, it's really in the who needs him club. I don't think Andrade sells a lot of tickets. I don't think he's an extremely popular fighter. Before he had the layoff, I thought that he was going all the way. I mean, unifying titles, Andrade. If I was Andrade, I would sit on what I've got just now, make a few defences, because I believe that Canelo would stop Andrade. I believe probably a few years ago it was a better fight and more even on Andrade's terms, but his career's been so stop-start. I believe I would like to see the Callum Smith fight. It'd be amazing to see what Canelo does with the height difference and the strength, etc. I believe that he would stop Callum Smith. That may open up a few eyes. I think he'll wait his time and get Callum Smith to the body. Callum Smith's a good fighter. I think he lacks a little bit of intelligence. I thought he'd done great in the George Groves fight, but I think he lacks intelligence a little bit in terms of the elite level in boxing. That's not to say that he's not a really, really good fighter. Callum Smith's a class fighter. I just think Danny Jacobs' brain and Callum Smith's brain, I think there's a bit of a difference there. I think Danny Jacobs has kind of come through boxing the hard way, and he's fought everyone really that there is to fight. So I think he's kind of winning it on the intelligence side of things, but I'd be very, very interested to see Callum Smith and Canelo. Saturday wasn't a great fight for me, but I did like to sit and watch it back and see what my second thoughts were, because you know that way sometimes you watch a fight and you think somebody was robbed, or I didn't think that the first time, by the way, but I'm seeing a lot of things online, people saying that Jacobs won. Jacobs didn't win. It's like, for me, when I was younger, I remember watching Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather, and for days after it I was convinced De La Hoya beat him. But see, when you watch it back, it's just Mayweather's landing shots that you didn't even see. Oscar was doing all the work that caught your eye, but Mayweather was doing so many things that you would have to sit back and watch again and appreciate that Mayweather probably did just pip De La Hoya in points and it was the right decision. But it was nice to have the judges score for me the fight correctly on Saturday. 116-112. I did say, if you guys see my prediction video last week, I did say that I fancied Canelo points, and I said I thought it'd be about 4 rounds, 5 rounds max. So it wasn't. I got my prediction correct. Canelo did win in points, and one of the judges, scarily enough, did score it 4 rounds. It was 116-112. I believe the other 2 guys had it 115-113, which I thought was a little bit closer to the mark. But I thought that it was a little bit of a stop-start fight, and sometimes you get that. I mean, you get 2 really good guys fighting each other. They're a little bit wary of each other's strengths. So perhaps that was what stopped it from really catching fire. But I thought it was a good win for Canelo. Danny Jacobs can definitely come again. I'm hearing the rumours that he fancies a bite at 168 now, which he's a big guy, Danny Jacobs. I think he could do. Be interesting to see him in with a couple of guys. I can see maybe if he does go up to 168, maybe somebody in the Matchroom stable he'll get gave to. Maybe Rocky Fielding. Danny Jacobs could be a possibility. I know that they were looking at a different avenue I read a few days ago for Rocky Fielding. Sorry, lost my track of thinking there. Different avenue, I think, from him. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I think Eddie Hearn said that he had plans for him when I read up on it a few days ago. But yeah, I think the right person won the fight on Saturday. Don't think, as I say, it was a spectacle, but it was a good victory for Canelo. For me next, I want to see Canelo fight Callum Smith. I think that's a great fight, as I say. So if you want to hear more from ourselves, we will be releasing some more content this week. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Eat, sleep, boxing, repeat. As I say, my name's Greg Doyle, and it's been a pleasure to speak with you and give you my thoughts on Saturday's fight today. Thank you.